The guitar was bigger than him, but his hand could hit that one key and could have played. I said, okay. So we found out that he was musically inclined. I said, he must have got a gift from God.
Speed it up, give you tempo. We cut it in 4 pieces.
Classic MP.
So, and then I add this.
Teddy Riley.
But Teddy Riley was proving his skills even back then.
R&B before Teddy came around was like just stick of butter. He was like a hot knife and it just cut right through the butter.
Teddy's always been a pioneer and he's always been kind of ahead of the game.
I just want to say thank you to him putting out all them records and being an inspiration to me.
Think about the girl all the time.
It was fantastic for Michael, you know, because he got a chance to go the 360-degree route, you know, musically.
News: Michael Jackson's new album Dangerous arrived in record stores this week, decked out with guest spots by Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash and a series of collaborations with New Jack Swing star Teddy Riley.
Working on that album was the most incredible experience, and I felt like I needed to go back to school to learn from Michael and give him what I know.
Yeah, y'all, it's the #1 co-signer, Don Cannon. We at Future Records. I can't tell you the exact city, but we at Future Records. We got Bobby, we got Gaga, we got Heavy, rest in peace, we got Blackstreet, and the highly decorated Teddy Riley. And we stand in front of this for a reason, because I've never seen a plaque with somebody in the plaque. You know what I mean? That's crazy to me. All the plaques I got, I'm not in none of them. You know what I mean? What's up with this?
Well, that was actually the first picture I've taken with Michael. I didn't know any of this stuff, the information, how well it did, until they sent it to me, and they did all the research, because you know you have to get approved for this stuff.
That's fact.
So the estate approved everything, and these are the numbers.
We're about to sit down, have a conversation. You know how we get technical and we learn the history. This is Don Cannon, Teddy Riley, TmrO. Let's get it.
Let's go.
The #1 co-signer, Don Cannon. This is BackTrak. I always tell y'all something special, but I wanted to tell y'all before we start, we use Legendary, we use Icon, we use GOAT too much. And in this conversation, we're gonna use the cornerstone, the blueprint holder. I'm here with Teddy Riley.
What's up, Don?
My man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. This is a special moment because every show I've had, everybody used your name as the inspiration for why they do music.
Oh, wow.
I don't think you know that, but I'm not going to name a lot of names. I was just talking to Pharrell the other day. We working on the Ludacris album, and he was like, "Man, I can't even tell you nothing about Teddy, man. I owe everything to Teddy." You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Got Danger says the same thing. How he was a fly on the wall in the studio, just watching you create is different. And what I know about you, you know, I grew up the same way, you know what I mean? I watched Rex and Effects. I patent some of my drum styles and over there since I, you know, took off the training wheels of producing. It was some of the things I tried to learn. I couldn't get next to a vocoder or nothing like that, but you know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
I consider you a conductor, you know what I mean? I consider you a mixer, a producer, a writer, a musician. And, you know, in these spaces, you know, creating a blueprint. You know, the blueprint is the tale of things that happened in the past, but it also challenges the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's going to be our topic for the day, is blueprint. And, you know, since 17, I felt like you had the pencil to draw the blueprint. At 17, first and foremost, for all the young folks that don't know, Teddy Riley, tell them about yourself before I go into the story.
Well, producer, singer, songwriter, and just don't want to be everything in the business. You know, it's my 40th year.
Wow.
In the business, and you know, I'm still enjoying it, you know, and still going. Just put out the new book.
Right.
And which is the roadmap to anybody, you know, just don't do the bad things I did. But the good things were things that got me to this point, you know. Of course, we always take a detour, we try something different and fall short.
That's right.
But even with falling short, if you got the talent, you just keep going, you know. So that's me, you know. I am started really, really early in my life. And when I started early, all I wanted was my music on the radio.
Facts.
Which is what everybody wants.
Yeah.
You want everybody to hear your music. And with doing that, I didn't think about the business aspect.
Right.
So you got to know that I love music so much that it wasn't really about the money. It was really about just getting heard.
That's right. What was some early, I know at 5 years old, I DJ'd my first party. I did a wedding for my aunt. And then, you know, I grown on to produce at 8, 9 years old. I was doing, taking the karaoke machines and putting my own beats in and rapping over them. How early did you start? Was that something like everybody often calls you a prodigy, you know what I mean? What were those early years like? Did it start at 17? Did it start at 11?
Actually, picking up the instruments at 3.
Okay.
And then at 5, you know, seeing, I say, part of my world, which is like not far as a 1 mile radius.
Yep.
The Apollo's around the corner from my projects.
Harlem world.
You know? And going to the projects, going to the Apollo, you know, I got to see Gladys Knight, who actually picked me up on the stage when I was 5.
Wow.
And that kind of made me say, yeah, I wanna be a star, you know, because she was a star in my eyes.
That's facts.
Then I just kept following that, you know. Of course, we took a detour. I went to the streets because I was just trying to get my instruments and, you know, stuff that I need. And then my mom, you know, became single parent. So we had to make ends meet. So I was my sister and I, we took it to the streets and, you know, we got out successful. In fact, the way I got out was I was kicked off the block.
That's how most people get kicked off the block. Though you special, get out of here.
Yeah, you know exactly. And that's what happened. And when that happened, you know, I can't thank them enough. You know, my crew, Shaq Crew, and AZ, Alpo, and all of those guys. They kind of saw me grow up, you know, in the music world, and later on they started, you know, doing music. So at least I was an influence to that at that point.
Right.
But starting at, you know, doing music, really playing with a band at the age of 14, 15. So my thing wasn't producing first. It was actually just playing with bands.
Okay.
I had my Casio rolling around trying to join this band in the basement, and they wouldn't let me join. And, you know, I was persistent. I was determined to be a part of this band.
Facts.
So I would be the spy across the street seeing, you know, my timing it, you know, when can I go down? And I saw the keyboard player quit. And when the keyboard player quit, you know, I asked them, you know, could I try out? And they were like, shorty, if you don't know how to play, we're gonna take your Casio.
Wow.
And I said, okay. So wound up auditioning and made the band, and then from there I just started, you know, really diving even more into music. And there was a brother by the name of Royal Bayan. He's the cousin of Kool and the Gang and the Family. And he's a producer, songwriter, and he kind of started taking me around all the different studios. So I was in sessions with like Fred McFarlane, Alan George, Mtume, Kashif, who else? Kool and the Gang. I sat in sessions when they were doing Celebration. And that just made me just say, okay, now I know what I want to do.
Wow.
And that was at 15, 16.
Then you moved into the group. It was just Kids at Work, right?
Well, yeah, that
was...
when I joined the band, I was actually also friends with Timmy Gadlin.
Okay.
And him and his brother and Clarell Henderson, you know, they put together we was trying to be the Jacksons, so I was the 5th member. He had twin brothers, him, TmrO and myself, and
Okay.
we swore we were the Jacksons and did shows at talent shows, and we also performed like at elementary schools, and
That's far.
that's when we developed Kids at Work. And
Okay.
the twins kind of fell off. They wanted to do their own thing, and then Tammy Gatlin and TmrO and I just, formed Kids at Work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did you have any parents or family members that showed you how to play? Most of us, some of us, come from the church playing drums, playing keyboards, singing. Was that the influence before you start picking up instruments at 3, 4, 5? Did you have somebody who was like, hey, pick up the drum set. This how you hit the drum. This how you play the
actually,
guitar.
I picked it up myself. My father just bought the instruments. He loved instruments, and he didn't know how to play, but he was just getting it to see if one of us would pick it up. And I did. And everything he bought in the house, I picked it up.
That's fine.
And just started playing and learning. There was nothing to show me. I just figured it out. So I used to take apart my mom's radio component set.
See how it works.
I used to think the turntable was a sit and spin because I didn't know how music was coming out of it. So I was just very constructive and destructive.
Yeah, I was destructive. I used to take the turntable early and take the platter off, had a belt drive just to see why that belt would spin back certain ways.
Exactly.
I was really technical with that side. The show, and I'm sure you spoke about this on many occasions, and even in the book, but there was something that I wanted to touch on as, producer to producer. At 17 years old, what did you think you knew, or did you know that the industry didn't? And what kind of void you were trying to fill?
That the industry didn't?
Mm-hmm. There was something like you're going into producing and you're like, ooh, but most times there's a problem. And we try to fix it, especially as you talk about being technical. I'm technical, destructive, reconstructive. What was something that, I could tell you a story about me. When I got to Atlanta, there was so much trap and so much just bass music. Like I said, I wanted to bring an East Coast element to this. How can I blend the two to make a kind of a genre for some of these rappers to rap on just things outside of trap? Was there something like, something's missing here?
Well, what was missing is I used to always dream about artists getting together to perform and make a record like Michael Jackson and James Brown. Never had that. So I took the music aspect and just put it together. So things like that I've done. That's why they call it New Jack Swing, because it's a mixture of all genres fused together. And that was my style, growing up. I just wanted church to be in R&B, so I started, R&B church music. And then from there, I was even more like, we didn't have synth or syncing or computers like that. So I was taking 2 drum machines and, I would like say, go see the doctor. That was, and let's even go back. You said something about trap. Trap's been out.
Facts.
Trap's been trap since Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, with all of the stuff they did with the groups that they work with. And then you had Loose Ends.
Yep.
And Loose Ends did, everything was 808.
Yep.
Then Keith Sweat, all the stuff that I did with Keith Sweat, How Deep Is Your Love, Make It Last Forever, those are trap records.
Trap records.
So we came up with trap so to let the record reflect.
I argued this. I was with Terrence Martin, and he said the first trap was NWA, 1988. When I heard, I said, I don't know, man. I meant to argue this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's good to hear you talking about that, because Loose Ends definitely was some of
before me, you know.
What I mean?
So I have to give credit where credit is due.
That's
you know, when they started, I said, yo, I learned the 808 on the spot. I didn't have one, couldn't afford one. Right. So when I did Go See the Doctor, 808, and when I did Rap's New Generation, that was the 808 and the DX, the overhang. So I was, the DX was the, and then I had the 808. So it was a whole different rhythm, and I was like, how did I get this to sync like this? But you know, then we just had to make it work, and we did. And then working with Heavy D and working with Kumo D and all of the rappers back then, I kind of didn't want to do R&B because Kids at Work failed. And I was like, nah, I don't want to go with no failures. I went into rap and started working on everybody and their mothers. They would come to my apartment. I lived on the first floor, and my A&Rs was my friends outside of the window.
That's how it used to be.
And they would listen. They would be out there dancing, and I would just come out with records and crank them. And next thing you know, we hit it with the show. We hit it with Go See the Doctor and Rap's New Generation. All those records, they played on WBLS, and I said, you know, I got something here, and then it just started getting blossoming, you know, getting around to different states, because, you know, we only know what's going on in our state.
That's a fact.
So,
how important it was for you to make your own sound. Nowadays, you know, and maybe for the past 16, maybe past 20 years, a lot of people have been just saying, that's what's hot, I'm gonna copy that sound. Do. You know, you had New Jack Swing, which we're gonna get into. I consider Timbaland's era a subgenre of people doing like he had a sound.
He definitely had that sound.
Had a sound that everybody wanted to copy. I'll even go say Irv Gotti had a sound that people wanted to copy all through the years. Two people that stuck out the most that always pioneered a sound of their own and was really dedicated to it was you and Babyface. Babyface, I heard some early demos recently of stuff he did in 1986, 1985, just him singing. And then you creating a subgenre. How important was it for you to have your own sound instead of saying, I'm gonna just go what the 80s is doing right now and just make hits based on what was there?
Well, I never thought about the importance. All I thought about was just fusing music, you know. Yeah. It was more of a, let's do what they're not doing. Let's do what he's not doing.
That was the answer.
You know, and that was just it for me. You know, I followed Jimmy Jam and Cherry Lewis and Babyface in LA. You know, at one point I wanted to get down with them when I left Gene. And that was either one of them, you know. And when I got close to the Godfather, the Black Godfather, he told me he worked with them, and I said, oh, this is great. I'm in the right hands, you know. I'm able to work with them, but it wasn't really important to me until, you know, before getting into the business, I had artist development. I was artist developed.
Thanks.
So my media coaches were Wendy Williams, Nelson George, and Barry Michael Cooper, who actually gave me the name New Jack Swing, because he felt like it was different. That's when I felt like, oh, maybe he's on to something, you know, of what I'm doing, because he never heard it.
Right.
So that's when it kind of pointed out to me that I have a signature. So it's really about signatures. And when I started working with Keith Sweat, I started going more into signatures. He had a signature. My music was a signature with his music, with his vocals. And then the same thing with Bobby Brown. When we did My Prerogative, signature with the vocals, signature. So it was really about, we didn't really have, it wasn't important. It was just like, do it, let's see where it go. You know, and that was my whole thing, you know, let's see where it go. And when we get there, then we call it something, but we just so happened to call it New Jack Swing before it got there.
I don't like to challenge it a lot by, you know, because people will get on this internet and talk crazy. But I would say that and go out on, you know, an edge and say that so many people copied the New Jack Swing subgenre, right? Do you think the industry or other people benefited more from it than you did at the time, because it was so sought after sound? It was just, you know, anybody from Mike to Bobby, everybody wanted it, but then you see other people trying to duplicate it. it wasn't something in your brain, but it also can be looked at as a side quest to say, I delivered that to the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And do you think those people at that time gave you enough credit for it, or versus the industry just ran with it?
Nah, I felt the love.
Okay.
I felt the love from everyone, from Babyface in L.A., Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, even folks like Miles Davis, you know, who mentioned me on the Arsenio Hall show. And then a lot of people would mention the New Jack Swing music. If they didn't mention me, they mentioned New Jack Swing. And back then, you wasn't able to even get a deal unless you did that type of music.
Right.
So as far as people benefiting, yes, I benefited more. And I'm gonna tell you why, because it's the legacy.
Right.
I'm still here.
That's right.
You know, so that's where, you know, I could say I benefited, because everybody still uplift the music, even in gospel. You know, when Kirk Franklin and all of the gospel artists started doing New Jack Swing, all it did was just push me up even more, you know, and that to me, church saying uplift, you know, so I've been uplift my whole time of being in the business. And, you know, when I would see folks, they were just like, and sometimes I don't understand it because I don't dawn on what I did, my past or anything, my success, because I like to keep going.
Right.
So when you dawn on it, most people get caught up in their own hype.
Right.
You know, it's like, yeah, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's never been me.
Right.
You know, I like to roll and just, not even when people compliment me, it just feels uncomfortable. You know, because it's like, dang, I'm still trying to be famous.
I'm still here.
I'm still here, man. Why are you trying to, like, it feels like people are just like, yo, it's time, you can retire right now. I'm like, crazy?
Ain't no retirement.
No way. So that's why sometimes, you know, when stuff is asked of me, you know, what do I think, or what I've done in the past, or the benefits from it. Yeah, when I worked with Michael, he took New Jack Swing to the sky. And then from then, it was just cruise control.
Right.
You know, doing Bobby, No Diggity, you know, records like that. It just added on to the genre.
Right.
You know, and I'm just grateful for still being a number.
Yeah, I already know, man. During that era, is there somebody that didn't get enough credit during that time that you were working with? It could be a singer, could be a producer that just helped, and around that time that you was like, yo, they don't celebrate him enough or celebrate her enough?
I would say Bobby. You know, of course he gets his accolades and people still love Bobby, but I feel like it could be even more, because if it wasn't for Bobby, there wouldn't be a lot of people who would step out and have the heart like him to sing their truth.
That's right.
You know, and that's the Ushers and Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
You know, I think they have a little bit of Michael and Bobby in them. In them.
That's right.
And that's the courageous. You know, so people like that. Also, John P. Key. He's like the roadmap to a lot of the singers. You know, still today, him and TmrO.
Yep.
TmrO as well.
Yeah.
They deserve.
She needs some more gold.
They're special.
Some more gold for sure.
You know, there's a lot of special artists out there. Jasmine Sullivan.
Incredible.
Special.
Incredible.
I just think that I feel like she should get more. You know?
For sure.
But it's a few of them, you know, I can go on. I just think that, you know, they just keep going, like me. Back when, I could have used a little more credit for what I've done.
Right.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll never ever, dawn on that. It's not my concern. I feel like God is gonna make it happen when it happens, then people will feel the same way.
Right. A friend of mine from the interns, producer crew, TmrO, he coined this name, the Buffalo Wild Wings. And Buffalo Wild Wings, you know, if you hear a song in there, it's been playing 20 years, 30 years. One of them happens to be Rump Shaker. You go anywhere near a Buffalo Wild Wings, you're gonna at least hear that one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There has to be some type of method to making these hit records that last 30 years. You might not know when you're doing it, but there's gotta be some type of math in it, because I know music has math. There's some pieces of math when you're playing keys, there's all in there.
Always.
What is the mastery in that? Like, how do you make a Rump Shaker? How do you make Remember the Time? How do these records come about to where you're like, oh, I know this is gonna go?
Well, that's one thing I never know is what's gonna go and what's not gonna go. So I'll never put myself out there. I never ever say like this is a smash or this is a hit. I'll say this is a good record. You know, yeah. I think this could be. And then I always have like I kind of sidebar dreams, like dream of like people dancing to these songs or what they doing to these songs. And with Rump Shaker, in all of these songs, it's frequency. It's really frequency. It's really important about the key you put it in. And it's really no special key. It's just what feels great frequency-wise. And I'm talking about sine. You take a sine, you could put it through a song with the frequency, 432. You know, everybody's in 441. But you could take a sine, a 432, and put it really quiet in a song.
Right.
And it'll still give you that, because 432 makes life comfortable. 441 is really hurting folks' ears. You're in a club and you're listening to 441, you coming out with a ring. So it's really about frequency.
Wow.
In a big way, like I would take frequencies, and you can listen online. There's frequencies to stop you from smoking.
Yep.
Frequencies to make you cry, make you happy. So most of my frequencies are happy frequencies.
So that's the master. That's what I'm saying. That's the blueprint to it, really, is the frequency, because you're going into these records saying, I know how to disrupt. I know how to
corrupt. You could corrupt music, man, and make people go out and just beat each other up like the Drip. It's like, funny. Wow. But it is, you know, for me, you know, I always try most times to put a frequency in the track.
That's dope.
You make it so low, it's in there. You make it so low that frequency is going to ring and it's going to make you feel some type of way. And that's what No Diggity did, and that's what Remember the Time and these records did.
Man, I was so confused about No Diggity, because there's a couple things. When I was younger, I was like, I thought Dr. Dre made the beat, all right?
Everybody did.
So, only because, not because he was on it, but it was just like, it had such a clean element. Yes. I know, I always say I consider Dr. Dre one of the best engineers in the game, besides production.
And producer, you know.
Motherfuckers, his ear is bar none.
Impeccable.
And not that I didn't know you were as clear. You know, in the 90s, things were muddy. I'm in East Coast,
that's
muddy.
Me. I'm muddy.
You know what I'm saying?
But muddy clean.
Muddy clean. So when I heard that, I'm just like, he's making this, but it just, something about it don't have the West Coast feel. It's still East Coast a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'll tell you, it does have a West Coast feel too, and I'll tell you why. People give me this nickname. In fact, Eric Sermon gave me this name.
Hey, shout out to Eric, that's my
1-2. He called me the 1-2. Because most of my big records are 1-2 records. No Diggity. 2. So everything is 1-2.
Right.
My prerogative.
Wow, I never even peeped that. I never peeped that.
All right. Rump Shaker.
Yup.
Everything's 1-2. So that's how I got that name.
West Coast.
And that's West Coast. And I spent time on the West Coast when I worked with Michael, when I worked with, I even did some artists over there that never came out, but I felt like I had that in me, and but I needed the approval. Having Dre on No Diggity was the approval of integration.
That's right.
East Coast, West Coast.
That's right.
And a lot of people didn't want to see that happen.
That had to be mastermind, bro. You had to say, I'm gonna integrate. That's something that just don't happen naturally.
No, I didn't say it, because Dre was the one who said, told Jimmy, tell Ted when he do this video, I want to be in it.
Wow.
And I said, okay, tell Dre, if he give me 16 and do his thing on it, we can do this together. That was the integration.
That's fire, bro. That's fire.
That was the integration. But how about Heavy D? Heavy D came down to the studio and heard it. He was the first to hear it. Because I didn't want to play it for nobody, because already the group members didn't feel it. But I got them to sing their parts, but they stuck me in the front. It was like, you go in the front, and if it fails, it's you they're gonna look at. So I take the credit. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the credit. But all of them, they did a great job on it, and we really brought that through. I met Queen Pen at the IHOP. It was like spring break, and her and her crew came down. And her crew is all women, and these girls, they beautiful, they look good, but they will cut you. So we had the IHOP, and she was talking. I said, okay, she's the boss. So they came and came over, and she came to me and she said, I rap. I said, okay, what you want me to do? She said, I want you to hear me. I said, all right, meet me at the studio. She came over to the studio and she rapped for me and everything. And I said, shorty, I ain't got nothing for you right now, but as soon as I do, you can definitely be my Lil' Kim. And when we got No Diggity done, I said, I want a female on this. And we were thinking of Lil' Kim, and I said, no, we gonna get the girl that I heard at the IHOP. Find her number, find her. And then we got her on it, and she killed it.
She became that one. I always talk about this. I'm glad you brought this up. And you see it in Diddy a lot with his bad boy regime. There was always a new artist, and he put the superstar on the artist. The opposite, you put the person that was brand new on the people that are already going for those records.
Exactly.
The integration we're talking about. With these records, you don't normally see that. You have 112 and bass was at the end. Big was up top. You know what I'm saying? You did some of that with the same records. How important was that in breaking artists? Because I know my past 10 years of me breaking artists with Uzi Vert and Jack Harlow and these guys, they're standoffish to that idea of integration.
Well, for me, I was never afraid of putting new artists and trying new artists, because that's how you build new stars.
That's right.
And I'm always a stigma to, you're not a star until your music become one.
That's right.
So I make the music, the star.
That's right.
And put someone that have the star quality on it. Like Queen Pen had the star quality.
That's right.
And it works every time. When I created Blackstreet, they were guys from the church, and didn't have the star look. I just kind of made it, through the music, and then they became the stars as the music, got to the mass, everyone loved the music and was received. Then they're received.
In that turn, they always said that in the 90s, and sometimes in the 80s, they had a lot of huge hit records, but not enough stars, or the masterful producers could make records and put them on anybody and make those songs hits because they weren't all the greatest singers.
Right.
Was that something you had to deal with along the way, just, meeting groups and it's like, I got a hit record, I can make this group this with the hit record?
I did that. And when I did it...
Outside of your...
Yeah, outside of me.
What you know, yeah.
Outside of me, I did it, but the one thing that, kind of threshold them from being stars is because they didn't have the development.
Boom, artist development.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like, and I'll say this, if High Five would have had the development, Tony would still be here today.
Right.
Because he would know what to stay away from.
That's a fact.
So for me, having the artist development, I had to kind of apply it to the artists like Queen Pen. You know, I made her move to Virginia. And, you know, we just got people to work with her. We had image consultant, we had a media consultant, because she was from the street, you know, like me. And sometimes we could say something off and, okay, we can't do this interview anymore, that type. So I had that with most of the groups that I work with. You know, some I couldn't catch because sometimes the music, just like, you know, what Diddy did, you know, he'll get a record on a Tuesday and put it on Friday. That's the same thing with me. Like Rex and Effect.
Yep.
Rex and Effect didn't truly have the development, but they knew, you know, it was my brothers. So they knew how I was, and they were became more of a reflection of me. And just watch what I did. So Arkell watched what I did. He started producing. He started doing everything that I've done. Then my brother was more like the business head, but he was the third rapper, you know. He got in where he fit in, but he always kept the business right. So with that being said, you know, what Gene did for me was made sure that I came out strong, clean, and knowing what to say and what to do. So I do give him the credit, you know. I probably wouldn't be here today had I not go through that meal.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Michael Jackson, it's 1960, 65, 70, 85. We get to the 90s and you get a call to work with him. Somebody has been masterful for many years before you comes to you and asks for your expertise into helping him craft a new song or sound. How did that go over? In depth, not the, you know, the book story time, but when you're there, what are the things that you saw? I know I talked to Dallas. First thing Dallas like, I'm in here with Michael Jackson. I don't know why he want me here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, you get those things where you're in front of them. You know, I've had, you know, my fair share of being in front of people that I probably was like, man, how do I possibly know more than them at the time that I'm doing this record? That they're asking for master. You're just sitting here watching me craft. For Mike, what was that session like? What was your first encounter with him like?
In the studio, first encounter was listening to the demos.
Okay.
Which it starts from that. And when he heard the demos, the first track he heard was Remember the Time, which was the first track that I worked on in New York. I took 2 weeks before even getting to him. So I'm like, you know, how you practice for, say, a show. You know, when you're practicing for a show, you're getting ready to just show the world that you belong. That's what I did. Michael wanted me there right away. I took 2 weeks and I said, let me crank out at least 20, 30 demos and, you know, just keep going. If he don't like this one, just keep playing. But he never did this. You know how people go, next song or next track. He would stop. When I played Remember the Time, he stopped me. And he was so like, he had like the definition, like, what is this? What's this first chord? Why this, you know, this beat, this structure, you know? And I really couldn't tell him anything.
That's why I asked you the question, because my first encounter with Kanye, he called my phone and was like, why did you do this a certain way? Why did it go? I'm like, bro, you Kanye, why? I don't know. I was creating magic. You know what I'm saying? So I relate to that with him saying, like, why are you asking the chorus? But, you know, he might have, you know.
And he even said, you know, I'm not testing you. I just wanted to know because this chord have never been played on any of my music in all my life of being in music business. So that really just told me, dang, I got something. Let's really, how you say, let's dawn on this. Let's go from here. And right away, he's like, let's write something else. I was like, bet, let's go. So I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get back on the drum machine. He's like, no drum machines, no machines. He had an upright piano in his room. So we were in Larrabee.
Oh, great.
So we're in Larrabee. We took over the whole Larrabee.
Wow.
So he had his room, his bedroom. I had my bedroom, kitchen, game room, pool room, meeting room, where we had the creative meetings. So I'm a part of everything. So we're in his room, hot as hell. Like, he loves heat. It's burning up in there. I'm like, damn, I'm already sweating. But with the hot room, he was like, oh, you want me to turn on the fan? I said, no, you keep it the way you want to keep it. But he was like, after asking me all of that, he was like, let's write something. So I was like, I have a new toy, you know? And he started beatboxing on me. I was like, he's like, I want to do something like this. And I was like, oh, I ain't got no drum machine here, but I got an idea. So the idea was, remember Big Payback?
Yep.
The bass line?
Yep.
So I took half. And he said, I said, you should do. So here, we still got the piano and his beatbox. I was like, when we gonna get this on the track? Because I feel this already.
Fire.
And that's how we came up with Keep It in the Closet.
That's fire. That's fire.
So after a little while, it became comfortable because I was still nervous every day. Nervous. Like, you know, pulling out anything, my hand was just like, just being, you know, in the room with him. You know, it's like college.
Yeah.
But you really dealing with the professor. Like, you ain't talking to the deans,
That's
no
all
nothing.
I was asking.
You're
I'm
dealing
like, he's
with
the one.
professor.
Yeah.
You know, and all I did was I took key of everything, and he even involved me in the creative meetings. Was almost about to fire someone for not inviting me.
Wow.
And our first encounter, you know, the first meeting, I chose the album cover.
Wow.
You know, and he gave that to me. He's like, he started pulling out pictures across the whole conference table. And he asked me, you know, what do you think? I said, these are beautiful, man. I love all this one. I like the one in the white. I like the one here. And he's like, which one for the album cover? None of them. He's like, what do you mean? You want me to do a new shoot? Should I do a new photo shoot? I was like, no. I said, you've been working on this collage in the room, and when you were making that collage, it just really, like, made me feel like that's the album cover.
Wow.
He said, someone go get it. They went to go get it and bought it, and I said, sit it right in the middle. He sat it right in the middle, and I said, now, what do you think? He said, that's the album cover. I said, and then you put all of those pictures inside the album. You could put it, you know, under the credits, or you could just put it separate, because you know, even my family members hang your pictures on their wall. So you may want to just leave those and then put the credits, you know, like still have the pictures as an insert, and then have the picture with the credits on it. Because each of these pictures will represent the song.
Wow.
So Keep It in the Closet. He asked me, how should I look, you know, in this video? No, black and white. He said, how should I look, you know, in this video? I said, you should show your features. You know, people know how you look now. Change up, put your hair in a ponytail.
That's fire.
Put on a t-shirt. It shows the sign of, yo, I'm gangster.
Yup.
He said, gangster? I said, yeah. It shows the sign of gangster. Because that's how LA would have, you know, most of the guys be having their ponytails. They don't cut them.
Right.
And they put on a t-shirt. It's like, they still gangster.
Right.
You know, and that's what he did. You know, he's like, okay, I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
And even though he had the skin problem, you know, they made him upright, and it just, you see it.
Yeah, I mean, that was his look for a minute. You see, I mean, he might have had on a, you know, the jacket with a white tee, with the hat, with the ponytail. He might have had, you know.
Yep.
You know,
Only time he went
rags.
back to Michael
Yeah.
was when he let the hair down for Remember the Time.
That's right.
And then that's when it was like, okay, here it goes. So the first plaque that you see over the kitchen, that was the first plaque I got on my birthday, the first year, 92.
That's a crazy plaque.
I was like, wow. I came in the house from the studio, and he called me. He said, I just called to wish you a happy birthday. Did you get it? I said, get what? He said, go to your door. It's like a timing. The delivery guy delivered that big plaque, and I was like, wow. He said, happy birthday. I was like,
He's doing his voice is crazy.
he's like, you deserve it. And it's more to go. This is just the beginning. I was like, wow. Man, there's been moments where I would call my brother. And, you know, of course, they the street guys, you know, they don't understand it. Like, when I tell them something, it's like,
no emotion. A word, that's what's up.
Yeah. We made it. And, you know, it was just that feeling of being able to be a part of something. And I feel like it was just a huge blessing for me, because after leaving Gene, you know, I was down.
Yeah.
And I got the first call from Quincy Jones and Uncle Mike Conception, and everybody was just uplifting me, because it was like, it's not over for you.
Facts.
It's not over.
Facts.
Don't worry, you're coming out to Cali. Quincy was like, I'm putting you with Clarence Avant, and you're gonna meet with him. And just knowing him and knowing years later, not even to tell him then, back in 1990, you know, because he wanted to find out my goals. And later on, we just became like uncle and nephew.
Right.
And he said, what's the first movie you seen? I said, the first movie that I seen in elementary school was Save the Children. You know, he wrote that. That was his movie.
Bro, that's synergy, bro.
Later,
That's crazy,
I'm
bro.
5 years old, 6 years old, going to the Apollo, shown at the Apollo, Save the Children.
That's crazy.
And then the performance, you know, the Apollo used to be the movie theater and a performance theater. So the movie would play first, and then they would raise that screen, open up the curtains, and you would see James Brown, or you would see Marvin Gaye, or one of the stars back then.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
I'm witnessing all of this.
That's incredible, bro. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We talked about A&R and development. Does it bother you sometimes when people get to a certain place with their producer or the person that's developing them, and they try new things, and then after they try, it doesn't work out, they come back to re-synergize where they're at? For instance, there's a lot of people that develop a sound. They say, okay, now I'm gonna go and use, I don't know, Max Martin. Go do something. They might not like the era they were in at that time, and they come back saying, yo, we gotta get back together and do this thing. Is there something in mind that somebody needs to stay with someone throughout their career, or should they always test waters? I know that that's part of artistic value and what you see in yourself, but I always was a fan of never lose the first element of it. You know what I mean? Even if you try, I don't have to do your whole album in its entirety. If we get 2 records from Babyface, we get 2 records from the Neptunes, but make sure your home base is home base, because that's what the actual development and the setup was.
Yeah, I can tell you all the groups I work with validated that. And what I mean is, you got artists who, when they make a record and they got a hit with someone, next thing you know, they are the producers.
1000%.
They wanna control. They wanna the artistic control instead of leaving it where it's at. And I've had that with I had it with Rex and Effect. The actual album after Rum Shaker, I let them make that album because they felt like, you know, they wanted to do something different. And I let them do that. It failed. Same thing with somewhat Blackstreet, but because I'm the record label, you know, I let them produce some songs, you know, Eric, all of them, and those records weren't the big songs. It wound up being the songs that I did. But it's always cool, you know, try something. Try something outside of the element or outside of the production. And I let them do that. Now, there's been instances where I did 2 songs on the Bobby Brown, My Prerogative album, Don't Be Cruel, and Babyface and them did most of the songs. After the next album, I did most of the songs, and Babyface and the guys, Babyface in LA did, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know exactly. But I felt like it should have at least been even out more or less than me doing the whole like bed of music, because when you have that formula, you shouldn't lose it.
That's right.
You shouldn't lose it, and most times we lose it. For me, I know how to keep it, you know, and keep it going. This is the formula. I feel like New Jack Swing haven't really been like tapped into like now, and now is the time because music have to come back.
Yep.
It's starting to, you know, I see a huge change in music.
1000%.
Coming and going back to 90s, 80s.
1000%.
I just hope that they keep the formula. My favorites out there, Leon Thomas,
yep.
Lucky Day, Bruno Mars, of course, Kehlani, Jasmine Sullivan. Those are the artists that I feel are part of the army of the comeback of R&B.
That's right. Because
they've stayed very true to their music. Anderson .Paak. One thing that we're missing groups.
That's right.
We're missing groups. And I've been, you know, sitting and listening to a lot of groups, all genres. There's a group here in Fort Worth, and they're like a New Jack Swing group. I saw them the other day. I did a book signing, and they surprised me by, you know, performing. Before them performing, I went to their home, and there was a friend of mine who brought me to them, Kevin Wells.
That's my man.
And Kev, you know, took me on. I was like, wow, these boys are amazing. But I told him, I said, something is in the way. I don't know what it is, but something is in the way. And I kind of feel like, you know, their threshold from really getting what they truly need. And this is not a group that you settle, you know, let's settle on this music. And you cannot just throw a New Jack Swing, any type of New Jack Swing song at them. So I saw them the other day. I said, you know, we have to meet, because I really could show you guys where New Jack Swing is today. Not too many people can give the forecast of the music unless you are the architect. So I'm doing that with High Five right now.
Dope.
You know, they still dope. They still, their performances are amazing. They have changed members. They still have the 3 originals, and they had to get a new one because Tony's not here and the other brother, you know, is not here. So I got them with some people, and, you know, they found their new members, and they're gonna be on, you know, a lot of the tours with me. But I'm gonna do an album with them at least.
Speaking with Remember the Times, I'm not really a fan of relevancy, the word, you know what I mean? And the only reason is because I've been here as a hip hop producer since 2000, God knows when. You know what I'm saying? You've probably been here a little longer, probably way longer than me. Starting in the 90s, it was heavily sample influenced. And you were even known for manipulating a sound that came before and how popular it was. Knowing the sounds today, how do we keep that formula? How do we keep the formula of, it's the same thing. I can make what I made then and make it now and make it refreshing. Sometimes they say, he's not relevant, so the artists don't want to work with you. Or, you know, the producer says, let's get somebody a little bit more relevant. Like I said, I'm not popular. I don't like that word at all. I just go with what I know is the formula works.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I don't. You know, I'm the guy that gets in where they fit in. If it's for me to be in, fine. If it's not, I'm still good.
Right. Facts.
So if they choose me, I'm not the demo guy.
That's right.
You're not gonna get a demo from me.
Right.
What we're gonna do is we can get in the room.
Right.
And if we can't get in the room, I'm good. You carry on. You know, that's what the old Jack say. The old G would be like, yo, carry on. Do it, you know, and call me when you truly need to get, you know, someone in that's going to steer you the right way.
Right.
You know, the relevancy, I think this crap is
word, bro.
BS. And, you know, I know that I can get in a room with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and we gonna get.
That's right.
Because it ain't about the relevancy. It's about great music and structure. You know, today, songs are not made with emotions.
Yep.
Songs are not made with structure. A song today will not take you from here and you end up here. You're still here. And that's because we've lost the bridge.
Yep.
We've lost the change.
We need all that back.
And we need that back so that people can feel the suspense of music.
B6. You know what I'm saying? All that's gone.
A, B, chorus. A, B, chorus, change. Or A, B, change. Rapper, you know.
Bridge.
It's like, you know who's beating us right now and having those type of records? K-pop.
They are.
K-pop. That's the one thing that, now, I can tell you there's some music out there that, you know, it could be like this, but it'll still take you up here, and that's soca.
Yes.
That's Amapiano.
That's right.
That's African music because, you know, of course, when they play African music and, you know, you can really determine like, okay, what's this African music, this will keep you that way. But this African music over here is like, you can hear that they did not play this or append it. They did not, like, they played this record all the way, and that's how I am. I can't do this and append it and make it the
4-bar loop, 8-bar loop. Yeah.
I don't do that. I play all the way through, and people were like, you still? It's like, yeah, I still sit with the music. And it's really about the time you put in the music that gives us its life. If you don't put the time in the music, it's not going to give it life. That's when you mention something about the staying power and how songs last 20, 30 years. It's the time you put in it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Today, talking about today's music and staying on topic, and just a couple more questions.
Take your time.
Just take Kalani, for instance, right? She had a formula. They call you and say, we want you, or she calls you, or she hits you on Instagram, whatever it is. She's like, yo, I want to work with you. I want to see what energy we can make, you know, together or whatever. Do you look at her formula and say, I'm just going to add to that? Or you say, I'm going to wash all up and just give her my style? I know a lot of people be like, yo, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to add a piece of the formula to it.
Well, the one thing that I listen to is her voice. Of course, she's got range. But musically, I have to take her somewhere else.
That's right.
Because I wouldn't be me if I didn't. I would be falling into the bandwagon of the same sound, the same style, the same cadence.
Yep.
You know, you have to give us something that's gonna be like, oh, but TR gave me this over here.
Right.
And folks are choosing this, you know.
Facts.
And that's what it's about, you know. That's been me all my life, you know. That's why when you got the Blackstreet record, I had to be my alter egos, you know, because if I gave you one, then it would just be one-dimensional. So I had to give you Don't Leave. That don't sound like No Diggity.
Right.
That don't sound like Joy.
Right.
Or Before I Let You Go.
Right.
And that's, I feel like if you continue doing that, you really truly see what the audience and what your listeners like.
Right.
Then you start flooding it. Like when we gave the first Blackstreet record, we gave you something to, just so we could see what you like. So they loved Before I Let You Go. So we gave you Don't Leave. And they liked I Like the Way You Work. But for me, I felt like it needed more. That's why we put I Like the Way You Work, No Diggity. You know, just took it further because we knew, okay, they love the beat. And that's still that 1-2. So I said, okay, I got to give them more with this. And I think that was the reason why the guys didn't like it, because they felt like, okay, I Like the Way You Work didn't really blow out. So when I gave them that and I gave them Fix, you know, still the 1-2.
Yep.
It's what the people want, but I had to take it to that next level with ODB and with, you know, the sounds being different. Take it to rock. We never did it, so let's try it. We had Slash on it. So it's really taking the element that people love and they like, you know, they heard and they love it, and you take that to the next level.
The fun shit. Mount Rushmore, your personal Mount Rushmore of people you consider the best that ever do it. Producer, artist, musician, it could be anything. You know, I sometimes, I don't know if you watch too many sports, but then I say, who's the Michael Jordan of R&B?
You're saying me or who do I?
You're out the equation.
Oh, I'm
who
out
do you
the
see
equation.
as the Michael Jordan?
Who's the Michael Jordan?
Yep. Can be musician, producer, anything.
The Michael Jordan of R&B would be
It's tough.
No, it's not tough.
You just don't want to upset, or you just like going, just be, you just gotta say
okay,
something.
for me,
yeah,
the Michael Jordan of R&B as a producer, singer, songwriter would be R. Kelly.
There you go. Okay, that's a good one. The Shaq and Kobe duo of music, who would that be?
Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. Yes.
I'm jumping around. Tom Brady of rap or hip hop.
Tom Brady of rap, hip hop.
We get arguing. You know, I got my own name, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you rock.
Tom Brady of rap would be, dang, it's a choice.
Most wins, most decorated, probably the most accurate.
Still the same two people. Kanye West and Kendrick Lamar.
I love that answer. I thought you were gonna go left, but I had to go against you with Hove, but that's cool. I'll take Hove.
No, I think Hove, to me, he's like the Frank Sinatra.
There you go. I like that.
Then you got the Duke.
Yep.
It's Biggie.
Yep.
Then you have
gonna go there.
Ellington. I say these names, a lot of these kids don't even know, but Ellington is the Tupac.
That's right. That's right.
You go into, if you're saying, I think that the Allen Iverson is DMX.
Wow. That's a big one. That's a big one.
And we can go on.
No, we go on and on. We go on and on.
But yeah, those are the ones that really stuck out to me. People that you remember years later.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. 90s, and I love this nostalgia part of it because my favorite year was 96 in my whole life. But on the R&B side for singers, and there's a lot of amazing singers. One of my favorite was Coco from SWV, right? Mm-hmm. My second favorite is Brandy. I heard a story earlier that tells me that you have a demo that you did with Brandy where you were almost neck and neck. I know we probably gonna cause a frenzy with this. Neck and neck with the demo version versus her version on the vocoder and what you did. Is that true?
Of When You Touch Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said it's some people that's singing the demo in their head right now.
But the demo
Brandy.
was her, and I loved when she sung it, I think she sung a lot of parts over. I was like, oh no, but it was still dope.
Yeah.
And it being done by Rodney, it was just like, hey, we forgetting about Rodney because Rodney.
Forget about Rodney.
These
Can't
are problems.
forget about RJ, bro.
Rodney's a problem, and Pharrell's a problem.
Yeah.
Now you want to back to a question you asked me earlier. I wanted to say Pharrell because he is one of the ones that you hear his music, and it's so futuristic. You know, and it's so crazy how I went to, you know, Virginia, calling my studio the future, and you know, bumping into the future musicians.
Wow.
Who are still here. They're in the future.
Yeah.
And when you had said that, I wanted to say Pharrell because he is one of those ones that you can hear his music and sometimes you don't know it's him.
Yeah, I was going to jump into that because I know on Use Your Heart, and that's why I mentioned SWV. He started with sampling and then somehow figured out how to get to a place where he's not sampling at all. And I was like, Pharrell.
No.
No?
It's different. He didn't start with sampling.
Okay.
When he was in my studio, he would mimic a sample, but he would not sample it. Chad would actually make that, and you know, with his own sounds.
Yeah, Chad. Yeah.
I sat in a room and I've never seen or heard a sample on a record. When he did Tonight's the Night, that was played.
Wow. I did not know that.
Nah, he played. No, Chad
I know he plays.
plays.
I know they both get down, but I didn't know that was.
He's a visionary. He would hum something like, I want this. Won't sample it. Chad will sit there, literally,
craft it.
And craft that sound with one keyboard, the Triton. I'm telling you, I was sampling more than them, but I would replay. You know, I was always the one that I'll sample and I'll be like, nah. And we didn't have like the forensics, you know, like Melodyne, where you can change the note within the sample and all of that. Because, you know, I do that now because I was like, yo, I don't want this to sound like the record. So I'll take it or I'll just toss it in my software, and my software will be like, okay, you can take this and restructure the note and it comes out to this. What do you want it to be, a major or minor? And it does it. So, and this is different from Suno.
Right.
I'm a part of you
gonna show me.
I'll tell you about it. But yeah, I definitely want to commend him, you know, for, like, we had in the vault, in the studio, some of the songs he did with Usher before, you know, he even got it to Usher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You Don't Have to Call, those type of records, yeah. He had them records way before.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He was so ahead of his time.
You made this Virginia hub so special, bro. And you know, I've heard the stories of people just praying, driving past your gate at the studio, trying to get in, like, one day I'm gonna be in there, one day I'm gonna be in there. But you've had so many, you know, Tim, Missy, Jodeci.
Let me tell you some more.
Pharrell.
Knots.
Oh,
Bink.
Knots. Big shout to Knots. Shout to Bink.
Bink Dog is like, yo.
Bink is incredible.
I can feel like when Bink was trying to get in the studio, it's like, either I'm gonna come through somebody or I'm gonna get in there. And when he came, he had that sample with Don't Leave, and he's like, yo, somebody said to me, I think it was, I forgot who it was, but yo, Bink got some records he wanted to play for you. And I started listening to his joints, and he had a bunch of joints, but that Don't Leave.
Bro, he's incredible. Knots is incredible.
Another level.
Yeah. Man.
Another level. Yeah, so there was a lot of producers down there. Chance.
Yep.
Who else? Walla.
Yep.
Mike Walla. You know, they did joints on Black Street with me, and you know, I always, I have to give them the credit because Virginia, with the producers, is just like
bar none, bro.
Hannon.
Bar none.
Who else? God, Spragg.
Yep.
Mucho. There's a lot of us down there, man, and everybody was doing something.
Even to now, Lex Luger.
Yeah, Lex.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Lex Luger, who else? I don't want to leave anybody out, but shout out to all the producers and all the creators in Virginia. Virginia Beach, Petersburg, Richmond.
Shout to Mad Skills,
yeah.
writer.
Norfolk.
Yeah.
You know, Newport News.
Newport News.
So yeah.
It's crazy. Last but not least, I tell this story a lot. I call it live and die hip hop. I'm gonna say live and die music. You talked about your situation with Gene. I don't want to talk about that. I want to jump into something that was either special or something that changed your whole life around besides that. Example, when I was 11 years old, my mom used to give me money to get groceries. I used to steal the groceries and go buy the records from the record store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which could got me in crazy trouble. But I did it for years because that's all I knew how to do. I needed the records. Leslie Brathwaite tells us a story about he was in LA during the Low End Theory time, and he was with his friends, and he didn't want to go party. He wanted to just stay in Tower and listen to this album. His friends leave him. They wind up dying in a car crash. He stayed there. So I used to call it live and die hip hop. Is there something outside of the financial space that either helped you get to the next level, something you did that was outrageous that you should have been not doing for the love of music?
Not really. I can tell you that for me, I stopped going to clubs and parties.
That's crazy.
And if I did, it would be outside of my city. And the reason why, and that's the reason how I got to making a lot of records, because I knew in every city, like, their sound, what they wanted to hear the most. Right. Like in New Orleans, as an example, they have the bounce, the Black and Mild bounce.
Yeah.
And shout out to Black and Mild. You know, he have that sound still today, and he's also working. We're doing some things together, but that was the only way I would go to a club or a spot. It's because I wanted to know what's the culture there, what's the sound, what's the cadence. But another reason why I stayed out of parties in my city, because there was a situation where, it's around the same time, 1989, where I left Guy. My last show was at Madison Square Garden. Before that show, there was a rehearsal. We had a rehearsal. It was actually the day of Damian Hall's birthday. And he had a birthday party at a place called, I think, the Mirage. It's called the Mirage. And there was an audition to sing background for Guy. And the audition was Chauncey Black and Eric, who became Blackstreet.
Yep.
But I had said, not really. I said they can't sing. I admit that they couldn't sing like Aaron because I needed someone that had that voice.
Yep.
Well, long and behold, I pissed some people off, and definitely I pissed Damian off, but it didn't matter to me because I'm always telling the truth. I'm always transparent. But I had also, we had got a new drummer, and the new drummer is Joe Haywood.
Oh, wow.
16 years old. So Joe was like, of course he couldn't go to the party, so I think it was around that same time. But Joe started talking to me, and kind of like gravitated to me. And Joe asked me, "You going to Damian's party?" Because he wanted to hang out. I said, "No, I'm going to the studio. I don't really go to parties, So this party that went down, I went to the studio because I was working on the demos for Michael Jackson. I had borrowed Q-Tip's studio because I had booked up all the studios. I was doing Make You Sweat remix,
Wow.
Why You Wanna Dog Me Out, and Jane Child, Don't Wanna Fall in Love at the same time. So I needed a fourth room. Q-Tip loaned me his room to do all my demos for Michael Jackson. I'm in here banging out this beat, and that beat was Blood on the Dance Floor. So I'm like, I'm rocking it. The room is shaking. I bought speakers, brand new speakers for the room because I didn't want to blow out Q-Tip speakers. So I bought my own stuff, hooked it up in that room, and my tech, I had like 4 racks. We filled this room. The room was like half this size, and I put all my racks up against that wall. I'm banging out with the MP, Blood on the Dance Floor. Now this is gonna weird you out, but I'm making the song. It's not called Blood on the Dance Floor. It's just a beat. It's just like a demo. We get a call. My security is like, yo, the cat, audition, was signed to Damien. Chauncey was signed to Damien. Mm-hmm. He called and got on the phone and said, Damien's bodyguard just got killed on the dance floor, right?
Bro, what?
It was because some girls were lined up to wish Damien happy birthday. Mm-hmm. And the ones that wasn't attractive, he would send to the side. Mm. The bodyguard got into an encounter with one girl who just was persistent to go, because I buy his records. I want to say happy birthday. Mm-hmm. I bought a ticket to this. I want to say happy birthday. It got aggressive. The girl's boyfriend was over there watching the whole thing. Then I guess something happened to her where the bodyguard just shoved him away, and Dude went and got his arm and blew him up on the dance floor and shot him. Now, I'm not even with Michael till 3 weeks later. That was, I think, the 3rd or 4th demo I played from. Mm-hmm. Remember, it's not called Blood on the Dance Floor. When I played that demo for him, he fell in love. He was in the back of the board just, doing his routine, mm-hmm. moonwalking and all of that stuff behind the board. He said, stop, I got a title. I said, okay, what you got? He said, let's call it Blood on the Dance Floor. I can't make this up.
That's crazy, bro.
Can't make this up. So those are the moments that I feel like, if I was in there, I would have been on that dance floor.
Right.
And probably would have caught one of those bullets.
That's right.
So those are the things that I feel like I feel before I get there or before I make a decision. My instincts from the Spirit of God tells me, don't go.
I get the same thing. Bro. That's a crazy story. I can't even believe that.
So yeah.
I can't even believe that.
So that's how Blood on the Dance Floor became what it was, and it was very successful because it was, was profit developed and before it even got to him. Right. And then he called it that, and it just blew me away. It made me feel like he is the chosen one.
He definitely is the chosen one. Bro.
Michael he could tell you, don't do it and you should listen. Just like now, you see all the stuff that he told us before.
All coming back.
All of it's coming into fruition. All he was trying to do was save the children.
Save the children. This is BackTrak, Don Cannon, the highly decorated, most honorable Teddy Riley. We're here. Remember the times. Technical mix. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in. We don't take your viewership for granted. I just wanted to stop and tell y'all the brand new update for TmrO app is here. You can sell your own stuff direct to consumer. I mean, albums, drum kits, artwork. This is for all creatives. This ain't for just producers, artists, or rappers, or anything. And this is the way you support us. And the best part about it, if you love BackTrak and all our shows, it's ad-free. Make sure you get the app right now, Don Cannon. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. Support us now. Let's get technical. The #1 co-signer, Don Cannon, Teddy Riley, the highly decorated. We are right here. This is the technical part that I love. And for all the youngins that's out there, man, we don't take your viewership for granted. I'm gonna let the man, the myth, the legend talk about what he's gonna, bring to the table for us today. As you know, when you first started, I'm sure there was a different MPC, there was different beat machines. It's so funny to hear you say, Michael Jackson said no beat machines. I would have shit myself.
Yeah,
so I'm like, yo, what? No drum machines?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what were the original drum machines that you were using at the time?
I was using the MP, the DDD1, Korg. Mm-hmm. I did all of Keith Sweat, I Wanna, Just Got Paid, Groove Me, DDD1.
Yep.
Graduated but before that, I was using everybody's drum machine at their studio, which is the Oberheim DX until I got my own.
Yep.
808 until I got my own, and I was programming, you know, records like Go See the Doctor, Raps New Generation. But when I got to Michael, I was using a Atari Commodore. I did Remember the Time on, and it triggered the MP.
Right.
It's a XL.
Wow.
2000.
Wow.
And then I have the Oberheim here. I still have a lot of my old drum machines.
Right.
But this particular song I did on the MP. This is 1994, and it's No Diggity.
That's right.
And when I did No Diggity, it started out with Will Stewart. He's actually the guy who wrote the lyrics with me. And he had the sample, and he was playing the sample pretty much. He had this and trying to get it to sync. And he couldn't get it to sync.
That was the simplest part back then, trying to get it to sync.
And then I said, yo, what you gonna do with that? He said, I don't know. So I said, give me the sample. Because as you can hear, it's only one bar. So it's like one bar, that's the grits right there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I had to turn it into grits and eggs.
Yep.
So we went here. Speed it up, give you tempo, and just that one. So we cut it in 4 pieces.
Classic MP. Cutting it in
So,
sample.
and then I add this.
Now, why'd you add that as the turnaround?
I added that as a turnaround because you know how you, like, when a comedian tells a joke, it's like,
Great
so,
explanation.
Dun, 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 dun.
Great.
You know what I'm saying?
explanation.
And I wanted that because I felt like it was like, what's going to make it feel like there's a tag on the end?
Right.
That tag was this.
That's crazy.
So I went in and I said, okay, I need to do this. So
That's crazy.
what I did was I cut it up in 4 pieces, which made it simple. Had no bottom in the kick. So what I did was I put the ultra bass on the drums, and it gave it the rumble. Then the backwards bass,
Yep.
which and this is one of those songs I didn't put a bass. So this was the bass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
KY.
Yeah. You know what? No.
Why
you hear the
why
bass?
no bass, though? Why no bass?
This song, you just can't put no bass on a song like this. What would you put? Like
feel
we
that.
tried, like with the band, we tried to have the bass in there. It's just doesn't work.
Right. That's crazy.
So this is how it came out, and everybody was like, just even as a track, it was the bed for everything.
Right. Right. So even with the lyrics, when you started with the lyrics, get down, no, like,
So
how did you get to the point of having that? Because I feel like that's a little bit of blues,
it is.
soul texture to it, and it's like, you know, I had to bag it up. It just feels
I didn't want to take it away from its roots. This was a blues R&B. This is New Jack Swing for you.
That's right.
You know, all I did was put my flavor into it just to keep it like hip hop or keep it R&B or keep it what people wanted it to be. It was more like they kind of set the tone for the flavor just by loving the song. It was loved by everybody, little kids.
Right.
The demographics for this song was 3 to 80. An OG come up to me and be like, man, that record, that Hot Diggity. They would say Hot Diggity. And
what is it, Hot Diggity Dog?
and they would compliment the song like, it's like, man, that old Bill Withers, man, you fell right into that. Right. And how I came up with the lyrics is, it was almost like this was about that Jackie, that Lily, that, you know, that Pinky.
Yep.
It was the hood, the hood girl, the girl from the hood.
Right.
That you always wanted to get close to, but you couldn't.
That's right.
Because she was with the celebrity hustler. You know what I'm saying? All you could do is just sing about her. And that's what I did, you know. Shorty get down, good Lord. Damn, you look good. Baby got him working all over town. Strictly bitch, she don't play around.
Right.
Cover much grounds, got game by the pound. Means she'd get anybody. And then there was a girl that everybody fell in love with in our hood. And it was a couple, but one was LaToya. That's why they made LaToya.
Yeah.
LaToya. So she was she was a no diggity girl.
Got you.
Rika's a no diggity girl. Pinky is a no diggity girl.
Right.
And that's what it was about. It was like that girl that she don't have to do much. She didn't have to do much to catch anything or catch a guy.
Right. Right. And you follow through with, you know, some of the, you know, the vocal order.
Oh yeah.
It was like you took it all the way home. Even just little pieces of the elements it felt blues. It reminded me of the R&B version of the symphony. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When I think of the symphony, I think about the cowboy day, the piano. It just felt reminiscent in that, in a sense. And I was like, wow, he really got it there.
But you don't have to do too much. This wasn't overproduced.
Right.
Because you know how we can overproduce
sure.
a song and
1000%.
be like, this is too much.
1000%.
We didn't have to do much. And even with the remixes, when I did the Das Effect remix, people were like, oh no, he just took it to another level. And got a call from Eric Sherman. He was like, you did it, T. You did it 1, 2. I was like,
you sound just like him. You did it.
And I can remember him coming down, which it really inspired me to make more 1-2 tracks. When he came down, we did Booty Call, you know. So with that being said, this record here was the record that kind of was the turning point of me getting into jazz, getting into blues, and getting into other genres and fusing it. And we conquered with this record, still today.
Yeah, 1000%. The Buffalo Wild Wing is what I like to call them.
This was that Instacart. It's an Instacart commercial. It was that
I'm putting it in my bag, Instacart. Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. Did you know, with these records, did you have a chip on your shoulder? Just because of all the stuff that was going on and you were just going into your new phase of who Teddy Riley is for the future. Were you working with a chip on your shoulder?
No, I always say this, and most producers, I'm frustrated with the world. I'm about to make a joint. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But that wasn't really a chip. It was just like, you gotta hype yourself to do something that is something like this.
Yeah, it's a competitive hybrid spirit, yeah.
Without being mad with anybody, it's just, I'm frustrated with the world.
Right.
Let's just, and I, you know,
right.
Will basically, when I gave him the melody, because that's what I do, I'll put the melody down so that he matched the cadence.
Right.
He went away, came back, some words worked. I said, change this.
Yep.
And then he'll change it, come back with it. I sung that first verse and it was it.
When you first played it for Dre?
I didn't play it for Dre.
Oh, you didn't?
Jimmy played for Dre. We went into the meeting.
That's crazy.
And Jimmy heard the whole album. And Jimmy, you know, if he get into a listening session, Jimmy would be on that phone, and you never know what he like and what he don't like. So about 3-4 records pointed out, he picked out. He's like, "It's a good song, Ted. It's a good song." When we got to know Diggity, he's like, he said, what do you think about this song? I was like, he asking me? I said, I think it's a single, Jimmy. He said, I like Money Can't Buy Me Love. That should be the first single. I said, Jimmy, okay, take this and let your guys listen to it. He let Dre listen to it. He let Heavy D, but Heavy D had already came to him and said, Teddy's breaking the rules with this record. He tried to take this record from me because most times I let Heavy, he took Is It Good to You from Rex and Effect. Now That We Found Love, we got our own thing. This is all for Rex and Effect records. And he's got that charm, you know,
That's
like,
right.
And he always get me. But this record here, I was like, you can't. Nobody's getting this record half.
It's mine, brother.
This is something that I came up with, and I think Blackstreet deserves this record.
That's right.
So he's like, all right, I'm not gonna fight you on this one. And that's when we did I think, what song did we do? I think it was We Got Our Own Thing.
That was a one.
So yeah, the creation of No Diggity. So we'll go into
I was about to say, what else we got in our bag of tricks?
I mean, I got songs in here, but the way I made it,
Yeah.
I mean, I could play you them, because I did this at NAMM, and then I can tell you the instruments I used for it. Okay. But I'd like to bring the instruments up on my Cubase.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So this is the original sounds of I Like.
Yep.
The exact sound.
What made you just play them like that? Like just off top. You just sitting at the piano like, okay, here we go, we're gonna make a song. You just came up with them chords, or you
just came up with the chords.
You didn't dream it, you didn't think about it before you walked in, nothing. You just sat down and
No, I would actually just how I thought of this was I always loved Tender Love. So it's
that makes sense. Okay.
So I went Tender Love. Tender Love.
That makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
And the other sound that I used for it, that's the dance. Then I went into nylon, and I just. Yeah.
Crazy.
So, a lot of people don't know I use this for almost everything, including
That's crazy, bro. That's your doo-doo.
Yep.
I hear them turn
That's
around. I get it.
all my records. It's always something that takes you over the hump. It's called the hook. Really, everybody think the hook is the chorus, but the hook is it hooks you to the next part. Yep. Those are hooks. It's many hooks in songs. Yep. So, same thing I use. I use the same sound.
Most people are playing, they're writing in their head. Are you doing the same thing, or are you doing it
afterwards?
Yeah. You writing in your head?
Huh?
You're writing in your head as you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah.
Now that's the chord that Michael asked about. He said, "What is that chord that you're playing?" He's never heard this chord in any of his songs. So,
was that a church chord?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
So
I figured that.
We go up. And then down. Frankie Beverly.
Yep.
Yeah,
I get it.
Those chords are just emotional. People feel those chords. Like, we perform this song along with the guy stuff, and every time we perform like a Frankie Beverly song or a guy song, close neck and neck, people are just staying on that dance floor.
Yeah.
And they're up out of the seats. So I always like to keep the emotions.
That's right.
Keep the emotions with somebody with a song. They're always gonna love, like, the next song. What's the next song? You can have a piece of my love. It's right. So
you doing us with no training. This is all
no training at all.
That's crazy, bro.
No. So to take you into that, of course, there's a few sounds from DX and the DX7 and from this here. So let's go into, I use this. Yeah, I had that. All right, so we'll record this. All right. So on this song, I still use the D50 and I use the DX7.
Yep.
And same native atmos, but I would tweak it a little just to be off and. And then
y'all recording
I
this
would
to tape,
dress it,
or were y'all recording this to tape, or were y'all recording it to like a SSL or something like that?
We were recorded straight to tape.
Okay.
Now I did everything on my Kai 12 track.
Okay.
And that was before I even had a MP or anything. I had the Kai 12 track, and I would pretty much have everything done on there. And when we get to the studio, it never sounds the same. So I had to bring the 12 track to the studio to transfer.
That's what I was asking.
And, you know, I just felt like when I get a sound, I'm locked into that sound, and I can detect it not sounding the same. And I wound up just taking the original piece and just transferring it straight to it, and then create a sync or generate a time code so I can add more stuff. And we can sync the tape machines because, of course, we run out of 24. Sure. We always have 48.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that first sound, you went to the next sound on that?
So the next sound, we would use here, let's see, a lot of like the harp sounds. So with same sound, this same sound I use for. So I would use those were always my sounds around, basically how I would dress a record, you know, just kind of put vibes around the foundation. And I do that with almost every song, unless it's just one of those songs like No Diggity where it doesn't need that much. But when it comes to, you know, like Piece of My Love and songs like that, I would just add like in the same machine. You can't get bored from the D50.
No, you can't. You can't get bored. But you know, as producers, we'd be like, let's go get a Phantom and stuff. Let's explore new sounds. We just stayed in here and made so many hits.
Yeah, I stayed in here. So these always felt good, and it felt good to people's ears. And like you said, if you got the sound, you got something, you don't need to change it. And it's really about the frequency of this actual keyboard,
That's right.
not actually the sound.
Yeah.
The frequency really grabs people, and that's why a lot of people are now using, you know, they can't get it physically. We have it, you know.
Yeah, plug-in.
The plug-in, and it's real close.
Yeah.
You know, I do have the physical, but sometimes, you know, you don't want to bring, I got so many keyboards. I'm like, okay, I got to pull out the ones that I love, and I know this is going to be what I need, and I have more than enough sounds.
Right.
You know, the key to having longevity in production is sounds.
That's right. And I'm a sound hoarder. That's why I was asking you about having them. It's like every new keyboard I have to have. Every new drum kit I gotta have.
Mm-hmm.
Every drum machine I gotta have. You know what I'm saying?
That's when I started out. That's what I gave people sounds, because I had sounds that I never even got to.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I give you a pack, you're gonna be like, ugh. Like I got break beats people that have never heard.
Right.
I think if they knew I had these break beats, it'd be like, yo, let's rob them for his break beats. Because these are break beats that you're talking about 60s, 50s, all the way up to, you know, to the 90s. And I got them from like, you know, Easy Mo B and some DJs that I know in Africa. That's all they do is they sit, and like my guy, Teddy Jam. He named himself Teddy Jam in Dubai. And this guy sits with sounds and, you know, DJ sounds, and he has to send this pack to you. You never even heard of it, like African sounds. And I just sit on a lot of this stuff, and that's why I never really run out of ideas. I'm just still going and coming up with new, you know, stuff for just any and everybody. So what we should do is transfer to the MP so I can play the songs, like we'll cut from that. Yeah. So you hear that, that's a shh.
For a song like this, how long does it take you to get the actual skeleton of the beat done?
Doesn't take long, because we're excited, you know, we're in the hood. You're excited about making any and everything, and just it comes out right. And then when you got the people outside dancing at your window, and they hear this, it's like, that's your A&R right there.
Right.
And but it doesn't take long at all. You know, I sat with this, and then because we know how to structure, it's easy how to really format making a song. Your standard verse, B verse, chorus, and now back to the verse. Same thing over again. Then you go into your bridge. You know, so once you have that, it's all about your vamp. How you gonna take it out? That depends on your singer. Finishing everything out. It's like he takes it to the next level. And all you're doing is writing. He's writing the beat, you're basically scoring to his vamp or how he's taking it. So we got our like.
But it's never been an instance where you had to lay the music down, did the drums later, you just always had it done?
No, I always had it done.
Okay.
I didn't, if I would have at least a skeleton.
Yeah.
At least a foundation.
Okay.
And then if I had to add or I'll do all of that. Okay. You know, if it's not there now, it's gonna be there later.
Right.
Because it's gotta be, right.
And then how many days? Like, has it been a set amount of days, or you just like to knock it out that day? We're done with the song.
Depend on the artist. It really depends on the artist. Like Guy was easy because, it was in house, and I was able to call a shot. We're done.
Yeah.
But Michael, we was 2 months on Remember the Time.
2 months for a song? It's crazy.
Yeah, because we would work on that song, and then I thought we would be doing the second verse. This dude's taking a trip to Switzerland. Like his breaks be breaks. Like he break out.
Right.
So when we sung the first verse, he was so excited, but he had to leave. But he didn't want to disappoint me by not doing the verse. So he said, I'm gonna knock this out. Theater's gonna love it. And we all were just happy, his vocal coach and everybody, we're in the room and he's, everybody's happy. And the next thing you know, we called him and realized he was gone. He was on a plane, on a private plane to Switzerland. And I said, Michael, I miss my family. He's like, no, don't leave. Don't leave. Everybody always leave me. Dallas, everybody, they just left. It's only because, people, they get tired.
Yeah, man.
They want to make records. So he's like, take the studio, work with your artists. I said, I miss my family. Bring them. I miss my friends. Bring them too. And
stay in the moment.
But don't leave, You are a part of this project. You're big. I can't explain to you what we're about to do, but trust me. And that was it.
And in that instance, you brought the family and friends there.
I brought the family. He even gave me a special room, the room that they shot Indecent Proposal.
Wow.
That room with the piano in the room. He gave me that room for me and my daughter and my fiance at the time. And he really kept it going. But when he came back, it was over. He knocked everything out. And then he's like, can you go back to Virginia and mix this? Because I don't like the sound here. It doesn't sound like the demo. I was like, okay. So we went back and I did that. I did the remix, the breakdowns, the Do You Remember Girl, all of those. I did that remix, and then I had to mix Dangerous.
Dangerous.
He wanted that sound, so we did all of that, and then he said, okay, you guys have to come back. We only have 12 days to final mix and master the album. I said, what happened? He said, that damn Tommy. He just went in and put the commercial with him walking through the fire.
Yeah.
He just went and put the commercial on and then calls me and said, you have 12 days.
Wow.
We have to have it by next Friday. I was like, oh my God.
Let me ask you this. When you went back to Virginia to mix it, right? Did you handcuff the reels or the shit when you went? from the airport back to Virginia, I would have been like, yo.
No, actually.
I got this Michael Jackson shit. I'm not losing this for nothing.
You know John Marie.
Yeah, for sure.
John Marie was in charge of the tapes and everything. Cool. He was just, John Marie will fight and kill anybody for his
That's right.
his career.
That's right.
Because everything was left in his hands, and of course we're working with the king of pop and R&B.
That's right.
The king.
That's right.
So yeah, it was just amazing working with him, man. Mostly all these songs were made with the MP. And here it is. So most of the sounds that I use for this are like my New Jack Swing sounds.
I know that.
And when I like that's a zap. Most of the high snares and all of that stuff, he fell in love with those sounds. I was like, nah, I gotta back it up with a bottom snare.
Right.
So that's why everybody, when they talk about me stacking my snares and my kicks, that's how I stack it. I stack it with give you a high. So that's that, as a definition, that's that cameo. So I use that, and I'll come in the middle and use to give it its tone, a 808 snare. And then I would use a pocket snare. Sometimes it's a piccolo, or sometimes it's a mid-range snare to give it its bottom. So that's why this song, it has the bottom. Same thing with, now with No Diggity, I used a breakbeat snare. So I would cut, you know the breakbeat snare. It's like, so the same snare that we use, boom, boom, so and I never know the names of the breakbeats. Like my DJ would just, send me, check this out, or a lot of the James Brown stuff I like. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, hit it. So I use that for boom. So I use that for I like, and a lot of my records. Groove Me, all of those are James Brown. So, and back then we got away with a little bit of it,
Yeah, before 94, you know what I'm saying? Before 94.
Yeah, we got away with a little bit until he got to hang, his people got to hang on like, yo, you sampled over here.
Enough is
You
enough.
should be making money on all of this. Unless it's just a bam, or yeah. So I use that stuff and kind of stay away from clearing.
Yeah.
This song here, this was a Michael
One of
song.
my favorite. I can almost see this being a Michael song. I can almost see this being a Michael song.
Yeah, this was him, man. He fell in love with it, but at the time, really putting together the album, wasn't nobody in his life this special.
That's right.
But we kind of turned it into, it's our mother, it's our daughters,
That's right.
it's our fiancés, it's the love of our lives.
Yep.
And we,
Man, that's Michael S. like a mug.
yes.
Jeez.
And there's some footage online of him singing it. People are thinking it's AI, but it's not. It's actually him. The tapes were kind of stolen, from storage. And a lot of his stuff, people are sitting on it.
That's whack.
So, yeah. I mean, I do have the masters. I have the 24 track with the voice, but, I I would give it to. I gave actually a copy to the original copy to the estate.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah.
That's dope.
In fact, they have it, you know, in their vault, but I always keep a copy. So yeah.
Do you repurpose when there's an artist that has a record and they don't quite believe in it? Do you say, okay, Mike didn't like this record? Do you go, I'm just going off the ledge. Do you go to Prince and say, do you want to sing this? Do you go to Bobby and be like, yo? Or do you be like, because me in the room with an artist, I'd be like, you use this record or it's going to go. Like, this is about to be
No,
one.
I don't tell him that, but what I did was I asked him, could I have this record? He's like, sure.
Right.
I said, I want to give it to my new group, Blackstreet. He's like, okay. I said, can we use your vocals? He said, sure.
Wow.
I said, can we use your name as a writer? So I'm pushing my luck.
You pushing the line.
Sure. Last question. Want your money back? He said, no. I was like, then God is good. Let me say. No, but seriously, man, you know, he pretty much gave me what I wanted. Like when we did the SWV Human Nature, he was like, sure, you know, you could use this sample.
Wow. Wow.
Didn't have no problems. No one could actually do that.
No. Nobody, bro.
So he did give me, you know, he even gave me some tapes, you know, because I was doing some stuff with Chris Tucker and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. He gave me the masters for that.
Wow.
Of course, I returned it, but, you know, but he gave it to me to get the elements off of it so that,
Right.
you know, I can have the original.
Facts.
So, yeah.
Facts.
Now, the one thing with New Jack Swing that you notice that I'll do in a lot of my songs is I will have a sax. Everything is, you know, I always had to have something hidden, even if it's a hit or it's the saxophone or the trumpet, but something have to be in there. So,
just a stab.
Yeah, have to have a stab. It have to have something that's just gonna give it a signature. And as you know, still the 1-2. And
that's the modern day 4 on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Now 4 on the floor, it's more of like
kick every time.
Yeah, the kick every time.
But this is like the
this is
like
the
the
one
first form of it. Yeah.
The 1-3. You know.
It's crazy. I feel like Bobby Brown gets a bad connotation with, you know, with the history of what people saw him as an individual versus his music. And one thing I like to do is I like to take the personal out of the music. I don't care about nothing personal.
Right.
I want to listen to music. And his execution in those records, I just felt like at the time, the way you crafted them, I can't hear nobody else doing them.
Exactly. You know, that song was specifically made for him.
That's it.
Because we knew what he was going through. It's like, yo, what a way we can tell someone, mind your business.
There you go.
And we did it, you know, Aaron Hall and I was like, yo, I was like, everybody always talking this stuff about me. It's like, we should put that in a lyric. And then we just wound up cultivating that whole thing. And, and it turned out to be a great record for him because it was his breakout record. The record that really set the record straight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The blueprint.
Yeah.
The blueprint. Yeah.
So I got some records up here that a lot of people don't know that I made, and you know, they would have to read the credits to know. I'm just gonna play a few of them. Already we discussed one. I did this on my bus. My New Jersey just gave it to you.
Fantastic. I did this on my butt, girl.
What time are you coming? Day and night I'm yearning for you. I'm thinking of you all day. Said I gotta be yours. What did you do? You know I really miss you, baby. And the way that you touch me, I can hardly wait till you touch me.
Man, I was so emotional during this record. Yo,
Why was that?
because I had just gotten out of a relationship.
Okay.
I was working on Michael. We were working on Michael in the Invincible album. So we were working on the Michael project, Invincible, at Criteria in Miami, and I was in my feelings. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna feel this song. So it's like I just went all in. So here's another one. Shout outs to Beethoven.
She said don't move. Got her legs wrapped around me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. I know that you like it, girl. It's been a while, baby. It's alright, yeah. Let me feel your love come down. She said she want me to. Make your love come down.
Crazy. Everybody know that.
I know that.
Remix. So I took Keep It in the Closet.
I hear it.
And I said I had
That's
to
the
do
DJ
this.
era me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
We love doing this, but it never came out. So songs like this, I like to just, when I do songs, I like to make remixes just in case they want it.
That's right.
And I sent it to Warren, and he's like, man, this would be amazing, but I don't think they ever made it a single. I mean, it came out, and of course, today's world, you know, if it's on the album, people gonna pull it.
That's right.
They're gonna pull it and make it their single. And a lot of people did that with this record. So, but I think if it would have been a single, this would have been dope as a remix, you know. But yeah. But that's it, you know.
You got a lot in your tuck, man. What's next? Like, what can you see? I know one of the things I wanted to see was you be on the Grammy stage and accepting the Dr. Dre Award. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's something that the culture needs to see.
Well,
and no award could define anything we do in our careers.
That's true.
But the platform allows you to speak to the culture in a way that you haven't got a chance to. A lot of us have to go to podcasts. A lot of us have to go to talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to stand on the stage, me watching, I saw Dre do it. I saw Jay do it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Pharrell do it. The conversation to the culture means so much more when somebody's not actually assisting the direction of the conversation.
Right.
And I would love to see that happen in that space because it's not about a song. It's not about you know, mixing, musicianship. It's about me speaking to the culture based on a career of olive branches that I've done.
I strongly think that that will come. You know, I deal on God's time.
I'm petitioning for it though. It's got to happen next year.
I think a few people are, but you know, if it happens, it happens. But I know that they will come. You know, I haven't yet to be on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's right. That's
you
coming
know,
for
which
sure.
I know I have enough in bed of music that stands the test of time. I think, you know, it's just really about having the right people, and now that I have the right people with me,
Yep.
you know, sky's the limit. You know, just this book coming out and us being #1, you know, in hip hop biography, #2 in hip hop biography, and #1 in R&B biographies. It's saying a lot. You know, I always kind of put out there, I want to sell books like I used to sell records, and it's looking like it's doing that. You know, so. You know, sky's the limit to whatever comes next.
That's right.
You know, and I'm just patient for it. You know, I've always been patient because I really feel like when you're dealing on God's time, He gives you the longevity.
That's right.
No one else.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Not the people. You know, I think He kind of steers the people. Okay, it's time. Let the fire horse come in.
That's right.
So that's what I'm patient for. You know. When I got my star, I never thought I was going to get a star. Wow. When I got it, it was like, wow, you never know. You kind of just got to be patient for the blessing to just drop on you.
Did you cry like a baby when you saw the star?
Not really. I really held my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
Like,
that's fire.
My mother was... She's the cause of it all. You know, she was the first fan, you know. Then my brother, and that's what made me say, okay, I got my mom, she got to see this.
Right.
You know, so I kind of cried later, but, you know, in front of the people and my family and everybody. You know, I don't say fans, I say friends. In front of them, you know, it was just like the joy, the joy. And then getting Songwriters Hall of Fame, that was another joy, you know. But, you know, my mother, she had passed, you know, when that came about. But, yeah, man, I just really feel like I'm still going and looking to work with whoever wants to work with me.
Nah, that's fire. You have family. You have all your masters. Besides that, what's one of the most prized possessions that you have? It could be anything.
My catalog.
You didn't sell. Huh? You didn't sell.
I'm not selling. I'm not a sellout.
I'm not a sellout.
I'm not a sellout, you know. There's so many ways, you know, to make money, you know, especially having the street smarts.
That's right.
You know, that's the one thing I feel that is not a necessity, but if you have that, that's a plus.
That's right. That's right.
So my catalog, you know, when it actually came back to me, I think there was some stuff online. The brother Isaac Hayes, the
35, after 35 years.
He had said something about the 35 years.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know it until I called my attorney and my team, and they was like, hey, you did your captions for this.
Yeah.
Back in 2023, when it came to you, we did that right away. So we have another 200 to 300 songs to do because they come 35 years. So I have another 300 songs to do, and then in another 2 years, another 300 songs. So it's tedious, man. If you don't do this stuff, then they try to take it from you, and you know, I'm like, okay, I know I got to have a good team now. 'Cause this is around the time where you can lose it all.
Right.
And I'm so happy that I got my first 300 songs. Now we're on to the next 300.
That's fire. Year after year from here on. Year after year
Yeah,
from here on.
year after year, you have to do the captions, and now we're on to the next. And my guy, Kerry Gordy, he did my first. Him and Linda, who's the head of business affairs for his company, and yeah, that whole team. You know, I thank them. I thank my team, Smilo. You know, if we want to find the money, you better get with Smilo.
That's right. That's right.
He will find the money. And then my CFO, she's outside of the music industry. She's been the best, you know. She's been really the best. So Juanita Brown, you know, I would say she is the start of my chapter.
That's right.
You know, of just building back, and you know, I look forward to the future of, you know, what we're going to be doing, and I can't wait to share it with you off tape.
That's right.
Because it's some great things. I've been sitting with a lot of my friends from the industry, and sitting with a partner, and sitting with Jimmy, Eddie F. And
Eddie F, that's my man.
we're looking to detonate some bombs.
That's dope. That's
you know,
dope.
to really build new artists. And also, I've been working with Mars Day.
Wow. Amazing.
And he has a new record coming. I'm doing actually a remix for him because it's the anniversary of Oak Tree.
Dope.
So I'm doing that, and then coming back with his new album for the summer. So he's got an EP, and we did this actually not too long ago, and we were just trying to find the time to put it out.
That's right.
But he's got some good records. Can't wait for people to hear that. I like working with legends.
That's right.
I love working with legends because, you know, we can really, like, how you say, cut from the same cloth. We speak the same language. You don't have to worry about, you know, what's relevant, what's not. It's just what's good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking forward, you know, to working with new artists as well as, you know, more legends out there.
That's right. And I'm looking forward to my 35-year catalog cash in myself. This is BackTrak, the Honorable Teddy Riley, Don Cannon. Thanks for coming on. Shot that Kai too, all the equipment in here, and shot the warm audio. See the headphones, my peoples.
Yep.
This is BackTrak, Teddy Riley, Don Cannon.
Peace. Thank you.